Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Naomi Rook. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to ring the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I do upload a video. Today's video is going to be products that I'm just not in love with. These are products that I've used maybe once, maybe twice, that are in my collection and that either I did not absolutely love or I absolutely disliked, and then I really wanted to try them in different ways than I tried them before, just to see if I can make any of these products work for me. Some of the products that I tried out was the Pink Honey. This is the Pink Camo Concealer. I did retry the Desert Sage from Profussion. I used the Sheglam InstaReady powder. I used the Zara. This is the Limitless Soft Matte Foundation. I used the Rare Beauty Luminizing Primer. I did use quite a few products that I have just not loved. I really wanted to test them out, try them out, see if I can make them work for me. So if you'd like to see how I created this look and also how the products worked for me, if I changed my mind about any of them, then go ahead and keep watching and let's get her done. Alright, so I am going to do everything from start to finish here with you on camera because I do have some eyebrow products that I'm just not a huge fan of. The very first time I tried them, I definitely want to revisit them. So the first thing is going to be a brow pencil. I have not used a brow pencil in quite some time. I have really gotten into brow pens. The first thing I'm going to do for my eyebrows is the Real Her. This is the Define Brow Pencil. The first time I tried this, it was really dark. It didn't really work for my eyebrow color. I want to just revisit this because my preferences in makeup change pretty often, at least a couple times a year. Most of these products I've had for a long time and I just haven't messed with in quite some time. So I want to see if there's a way I can make them work for me. The idea for this video really started with just a foundation I wanted to retry, but try to figure out how to fit it into a video, and I wasn't a fan of it. So I'm going to do everything in here up products that just wasn't my favorite, but I really do want to make them work. This pencil is really creamy. It's going on very easily, but it's just so dark, and I just have not done pencil brows in so long. I'm just not a fan of them. I really have gone to more of that light, barely done anything to my eyebrows kind of look. So I went ahead and zoomed you in just so you can see a little bit more up close. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've never even used this. This is the Nyx Fill N Fluff. It is like a clear brow pencil, but it's like a wax. So you roll it up and then it just rolls up. It's a wax. So I want to see if this is going to like hold my brows kind of like an eyebrow gel would. I've never used a wax in my eyebrows, so I just wanted to see how this was going to work. And then on the other side, there's really kind of weird brush. So I'm going to go ahead and use that on my eyebrows just to see if that like holds them in place and gives me kind of that laminated fluffy brow look that I do like. Well, there is that eyebrow. It did give me the laminated look. It does feel a little kind of not tacky, but just like there's a wax on it, but it does feel like it's going to last and hold still. I really like this idea for a video because there are a lot of products that I get and I'm so excited to try, so I just try them before I even put them on camera. And then like once I try a product and I'm like kind of disappointed by it, I'm no longer excited to try them in a video. So they kind of get pushed back to the back of my drawer, but I felt like this was a really good way to incorporate a lot of those type of products in one video to just show you. Alright, so there are the eyebrows done. I did have to put in a little bit more pencil. I do like them. They look pretty nice. They are a little bit dark for me, and I definitely do not like the brush on the NYX, the Fill N Fluff. I needed a spoolie. That brush was just kind of a strange little, it just looked like a hairbrush for your eyebrows, so I definitely needed a spoolie. I like how my brows look. They're just definitely not my preferred type of brows right now. I'm going to prime my eyelids. I'm going to use the Peaches and Cream eyeshadow primer. I've used this a ton, and every time I've tried it, I'm not a fan of it. I hate the package it comes in because it's like a metal tube, so I take the lid off and it instantly starts coming out of it. So I have like no control whatsoever. It's quite messy. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply a little bit to my brush and then kind of rub it out on the back of my hand and then apply it on my lid from there. I did not notice that this helps with creasing, so I'm going to try again and just set it with some powder. And I haven't been setting my eye primer with powder, so I thought maybe I would set this and see if that kind of helped the situation of the creasing. And then I'm going to go ahead and set that with the Sheglam InstaReady powder. I haven't noticed that this is just a outstanding powder. So I'm going to use this on my face as well today. And then I'm going to just set my eyeshadow primer with this. So next I'm going to go in with the Denessa Myricks. This is one of her color fixes. It is a matte and it is an exposed. I absolutely love this formula. This is one of my favorites. But I bought exposed thinking it was more of a neutral brown that would look great in the crease. But it has very much a purple undertone. So I wanted to use it today to see if I can make it work for like an everyday eyeshadow look. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the back of my hand. It's a very fluent liquid product. And then I'm just going to take a little fluffy brush and just tap a tiny bit into my crease and see if I can make this a bit more wearable. Alright, there is the color. I absolutely love the formula of these. They are matte, they set down, they're really easy to blend out. I love just throwing it in with a fluffy crease brush. I don't love this color. It's such a cool tone purple color, and I was really hoping that it would be a more kind of cool tone brown. That's kind of what it looked like in all the pictures, but I'm going to throw on some colors on top just to see if I can make it work. If you can hear the rain, it just started downpouring here, so I do apologize for that. So the eyeshadow palette I'm going to go into is the Profussion Desert Sage. I think in a previous video I did say I was going to go ahead and declutter this. Some of these products I did pull out of my declutter pile just because it's been so long since I've started putting things in my declutter pile. I don't know. I can't even remember why I didn't like them. I just knew I didn't like them, and like I said, my preferences change just so often. Sometimes I do like to keep my declutter pile around so that I can kind of go through every once in a while and like maybe try things out again. Normally I never end up liking them, but I do like to revisit products sometimes. So I'm going to go into this dark cranberry color back here. I do remember this was one of the colors that I did like in this palette. I'm just going to put that on the back third of my lid and kind of just wing it out just a little bit. That palette is clean, really weird here. I definitely remember why I don't like this palette. I felt like all the mattes didn't quite blend perfectly. So I'm definitely getting that with this one as well. But I'm just going to see if I can get a wearable look using this palette. Next, I'm going to hop into this really beautiful metallic color, and I'm just going to apply that onto my lid using my finger. That metallic is definitely beautiful. I love how that looks. Taking that up kind of far, definitely above my crease. So pretty. Then I'm going to go in with this dark blue, and I'm going to do a wing liner using eyeshadow. I haven't done one using blue in a long time, so I'm just going to tap that on my lash line and then just kind of wing it up. I'm going to do it while my eye is open because I do kind of have hooded eyes, so I want to make sure that the shape is not distorted when I open my eyes. I'm just winging that out just a little bit. There is the eyeshadow look. I'm going to leave it there for now. I did curl my eyelashes. I'm going to go with mascara. I'm going to use my Merit mascara. This is the Perfect Black Lengthening Mascara. I didn't love this when I first used it. It didn't seem to do a whole lot to my lashes. I'm going to apply a few more layers just to see if I can get a bit more on my lashes with this one, because the last time I used it, it just didn't seem to do a lot. But I only do 1 to 2 layers max. So I'm going to try like maybe 3, see if I can build it up and add a little bit more definition to my lashes. Alright, so I did build it up about 3 layers. You can definitely build it up without it getting clumpy. It is the definition of a lengthening mascara. It doesn't get clumpy or kind of collected together. I like how it looks, but I am noticing my curl is already kind of falling. I do have issues with kind of straighter lashes, which is why I normally do a waterproof mascara, because it does hold that curl. It still is not giving me all that much, even with 3 layers, but it looks all right. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so next we're going to go into primers. I am going to be using the Rare Beauty. This is the Illuminating Primer. I have not loved this. It looks quite gummy under every foundation I have tried it with. I did actually have this in my declutter pile, so I'm going to go ahead and apply it to half my face because I have another primer I also want to try. This looked quite gummy under every foundation I've tried. It just looked kind of, it started kind of balling up and not looking super smooth. So I did want to try this again under a foundation that is very full coverage. So there is that primer. It does look really pretty, very luminous, a little Tin Man-y, but I wanted to try it under a full coverage foundation. And then on the other side, this one is one that I've heard so many people raving about, and I've just not loved it. This is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glowotion. I've heard that this is a Charlotte Tilbury dupe. So with this one, I have to be so careful not to apply too much. I have applied too much, and it does not work well under foundations at all. So I'm just going to apply the smallest amount and then really blend that into the skin. I definitely like the look of this one a lot more. It's not as luminous or as Tin Man as that one. It does look a lot more natural. I did get this in the color Light Glow 902. Just works a little bit better with my skin tone. So I wanted to apply two different primers because I wanted to see if I noticed any type of difference with my foundation for either specific primer. So the foundation I wanted to try today is the Zara. This is the Limitless Soft Matte Foundation. I have this in N913. It is very dark. It's my summer shade. I'm going to have to manipulate it to make it work for my skin tone, but I really wanted to try this with more luminous primers underneath just to see, because when I tried this out, I do have a video, a review video of this. When I tried it out, it did look really kind of heavy. So I'm going to try to apply a very thin layer just to see if I could still get at least medium coverage but not be so heavy. I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the back of my hand. There is the foundation. It is a little bit too dark, so I'm going to throw in some of my white mixing pigment from LA Girl. See, I have a little bit of a natural tan going on right now, but not a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and apply just a little bit. That looks like it'll work. So I'm just going to apply this on top. I did have a little pimple there. I want to see if it's going to cover that. And then we're just going to start with kind of a lighter layer and go from there. And then instead of a brush, I'm going to go and apply it with my sponge to see if that will kind of lighten up the foundation a little bit. On that side is the Rare Beauty primer. You can definitely see tons of glow underneath. The foundation does look pretty nice on top of that primer. It's not looking super heavy, maybe a little bit for my nose, but I did add just a really light layer and a little bit more on my cheeks just because I have a bit more redness. And then there is the side with the Maybelline Lumi Glowotion. Definitely not as luminous, and I would say it doesn't look quite as smooth right here. Right here looks pretty like airbrush, and then right there you can definitely see more pores than you can on this side. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but this side is definitely looking a lot smoother. For concealer, I'm going to go ahead and go in with, this is from Pink Honey. I did buy this and one of their blush Bibles. I love the blush Bible. That's beautiful. So I'm going to go in with the, it is the Pink Honey Pink Camo Concealer in Takeover. It's very light. It's a little bit too light for me for sure, which can have something to do with maybe why I didn't like it. But I did find that it was a little heavy. So I'm going to apply it with a brush and then blend it in with my fingers just to see if that will kind of lighten up the heaviness so it blends into my skin just a little bit better. So just apply it right there like that. And then right like that, and then I'm just going to warm it in with my fingers. I find that if I have a concealer that is kind of hard to work with or doesn't blend into my skin great, fingers most of the time work so great because it really warms up the product and then just easily blends it into my skin. It's not covering my dark spot that's right there, so I'm going to put a little bit more there and just let it sit, and I'm going to put a tiny bit more there and a little bit more there. I'm going to let that sit there for a little while, let it dry down, and then see if I can get just a tiny bit more coverage from it. So there it is. I did get the coverage that I wanted from it, but it does look pretty heavy. It's just not a concealer that you can use just a tiny bit and get decent coverage. It's a little bit harder to blend into the skin, so I just don't think it's going to be my absolute favorite concealer. I don't think it would even work. See, as I blend it out even a little bit more, I'm starting to pick it up. Let's try with my sponge maybe and see how yeah, that's just taking all the coverage away. It is just not a concealer that I'm absolutely loving either. I want a sheer coverage concealer that looks really skin-like, or I want a full coverage concealer that can look a little heavy but not so heavy because I can powder it down. It just looks really heavy and kind of cakey on the skin. I just don't think I'll be keeping this in my collection. It doesn't look really nice and it doesn't have great coverage. So next I'm going to go in with kind of a liquid bronzer type product. It is not advertised as a liquid bronzer. It is the Flower Heat Wave Bronzing Essence. I've been trying to use this in 1,000 different ways just to see how I like it best. I definitely really enjoy it mixed in with a very light coverage foundation that maybe is a little bit too light for me and I need to deepen it up. I want a liquid bronzer. So I want to try this. I really want to buy the new shade of the Melt the sex foils. They have one that is supposed to be more of a kind of can be used as a bronzer color. So I want to pick that up, but I really wanted to kind of go through my collection to see if I had something that could be used like that instead. So I wanted to try this out in kind of a liquid bronzer type way. So I'm just going to apply a little bit and a little bit where I'd put bronzer down here. And I'm going to put just a little on my nose. The applicator absolutely sucks. It does not pick up really anything. So I'm just going to kind of tap that in a little bit. I actually never applied this with my finger. I might apply the whole thing with my finger because it seems to be blending out like way more pigmented than ever before using my finger. And then maybe I'll go on top of that with my sponge. It's definitely way more pigmented using my finger. And then I think because this spot up here is a little bit too much, I might blend that out with a sponge. Oh, see, that looks terrible with a sponge. You can see it like picked up a bunch, and it didn't do that with my finger. And I think this is the prettiest I've ever seen this product look, and it definitely looks way more pigmented using your finger than I've ever seen it. I'm going to use kind of a foundation brush just to really kind of stamp it into my skin. It's something I think would work better on a more sheer foundation, but used with your fingers, it is very pretty. So next, I'm going to go ahead and powder. I'm going to use the Sheglam InstaReady. I didn't notice anything incredible about this powder. I felt like it was fine enough. I wanted to use it just to see if it would smooth out this concealer. I'm still having issues with this concealer moving around a lot. I just tried to tap out the creases, and I noticed that it kind of moved the coverage. So it's a very slippy concealer that doesn't really dry down at all. Doesn't have great coverage and is easy to like just pick up off your skin. Not a fan of that concealer at all. So I went in with a setting powder. Now I'm going to go in with the loose powder. I do like that this has both powders in one little compact. That definitely makes it really convenient to use. I'm going to use just a little bit on my sponge and just tap it into my skin. That powder under my eyes definitely looks very smooth. It looks really airbrush, but it does not give me the kind of bright under eyes that I really, really like that I get from the Jaclyn Cosmetics brightening palette. For bronzer, I'm going to use this Estetica Bronzer. I have used this quite a lot. I used it during the winter and I didn't like the shade of it. So ever since I've gone a little bit more tan, I have been using it, and I am happy to report it definitely works a lot better with me with this tan. It's just a tone that doesn't work on very fair skin. If you're more light to medium, I think it would work a lot better, just not on fair skin. It's grabbing weird right there. I don't know if I'm going to like that flower essence in any other way other than mixing it with a foundation, because exactly where I put it now, the powder bronzer is grabbing really weird right there. I just don't think the essence is something I want to use for anything other than mixing it in with a foundation to make the foundation just a little bit darker. I don't notice any weird grabbing on this side, but definitely right here it looks really bad, like it's not blending back into my hairline, and it's kind of left right here with no powder. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep that in my kind of mixing with foundation type drawer and not in my primers or my liquid bronzers. It just doesn't work great that way. For blush, I don't really have a blush in my collection that I dislike, so I'm gonna go with my Lottie London. This is the Serine. This is an ombre blush from a kind of tan to a pink. The only thing I didn't absolutely love is that it's not my most favorite color of blush. It's a little bit more sheer. So I want to see if I can kind of build this up a little bit more. I used to like more sheer blushes, but I now really, really love like a super poppy, vivid, kind of almost neon blush. So I wanted to see if this is something I could build up to look like that and still look nice on the skin and not look heavy. By the time I have built it up to the intensity that I like, it is a lot of glitter all over my cheek, which isn't exactly what I'm looking for. I love glowy blushes, but I don't like glitter, and then I like a very pigmented blush, so that by the time I get this blush as pigmented as I like, there is a ton of glitter. I think I'll keep it for more of a very light natural blush, but it is not going to be like my go-to for the summer because I am loving this color of blush, but I don't like all of the powdery glitter on my cheeks. I'm going to highlight my face, so I'm going to go ahead and spray down everything just to see if I can get this foundation to look a little less heavy. It looks a little heavy and a little bit cakey around my nose, so I'm going to spray it down really nice, let that dry down, and I'll go in with highlighter. I'm going to go in with the first, this Sheglam Cosmic Crystal Mousse Highlighter in Vanilla Sky. I really like this formula a lot. The color is not quite my preferred. It is a very white gold kind of shift, a little bit more unnatural. So I wanted to go in with this, and then I'm going to top it off with something that's a little bit too dark and see if I can make either of these work for my undertone. If not, I might end up decluttering this one. We will see. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that just to the tops of my cheeks. It does have a really soft, smooth, velvety feel, but you can't get a ton with a brush. So maybe I will just apply it with my finger. Definitely gives you the glass-like look on your cheeks. It's not super glittery or anything. It kind of works. I mean, it's definitely not super green on your skin. Apply a little bit on my nose. Yeah, you know, that is a tone that I could probably work with. It might work a little bit better when I'm a bit lighter. It does look so pretty and wet, so I do like that. I'm still having a lot of cakiness around my nose from that foundation. The next highlighter is a Tarte one. This is Fantasy. It's one of their Amazonian Clay 12-hour highlighters. I really do like this, but the tone is pretty dark, so I wanted to see if this would work for me with a bit more of a tan. I don't really notice a huge difference with that at all. I don't think this is one of those that looks very glass-like. It kind of looks a bit more heavy on the skin. I put it up here. It doesn't look super smooth, so I could see myself decluttering that Tarte one just because it's not like that really soft glass-like, looks like your skin type highlighter. It definitely looks like it is a powder highlighter on your skin. For lips, I want to go in with the NYX. This is the Shine Loud liquid lipstick. It went trending all over TikTok, so I definitely ran out and bought this because I was easily swayed to buy it. I got it in Global Citizen. When I first got this, it was a little bit too dark for my skin tone. It was kind of pale, so I wanted to try it when I was darker. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. This is the NYX Nude Truffle lip liner. Then on top of that, I'm going to take the lipstick. I'm going to wipe it off a lot. So it's a very thin layer. I think I might like this formula a little bit more if it's a thin layer. Just apply it to the middle. And then you were supposed to let this dry down for about 30 seconds and then put the clear gloss on top of it, and it's not supposed to transfer. I haven't worn this lip color out, so I'm kind of excited just to test it out to see if it's going to transfer. Okay, so there it is dried down. I'm going to put the gloss on top of it and then see if it's going to transfer. Let that sit for just a second. Let's look up close to my face and see what I am thinking. The foundation, for even a thin layer that I did apply, it is looking really heavy, especially around my nose and my mouth. It doesn't look great up close. Not super thrilled about how that is looking. The bronzer has clung really poorly to the Flower Essence. Definitely just going to use that as a mixing pigment kind of for foundations. Both of my highlighters is looking pretty heavy. I think I definitely went overboard on the highlighter, but I'm not thinking that either of them look really pretty. The Tarte one, that's the only one that is up on my forehead that definitely looks very heavy. I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter that Tarte one. The eyeshadow looks really pretty. I like the look that I got. I think that because I put a more neutral brown on top of that Denessa Myricks Exposed, it looks really pretty and very kind of striking up close. I really love what I did with the eyeshadow. I think it's pretty. The color on my lid is absolutely stunning. I don't know if I've used that color in that palette before. I think I will probably still declutter the eyeshadow palette just because they are colors that I do definitely have in other palettes with formulas I like a little bit better, but I do really like the look that I created. The mascara is definitely completely flat. Every bit of curl that I've done has completely fallen. I like how it looks because it is that light, lengthened, kind of fluttery type mascara, but it does not hold a curl, and I had to apply quite a lot just to get that fluttery look. Otherwise, you really can't tell that I've done a lot with my lashes with just 1 or 2 coats. And then the true test for the lipstick, I'm going to go ahead and see if it transfers. I had just a little bit of transfer, but that might have been just from the lip liner. Yeah, definitely no transfer for what is on my lips. I do like that there is still gloss on it. I think this color is just a little bit too dark for my preferences, maybe for fall and winter, but then by that time I'm pretty pale, so it's not my absolute favorite color on me. I will probably keep it in my collection just in case I am wanting kind of a darker brown lip, but I do like how everything from far away is looking. It does look pretty, but up close definitely have some products that I'm not going to keep in my collection. Alright, so there is the end of the video. Hopefully this was helpful. It was kind of fun for me to grab the products out of my collection that I didn't quite love, just to see if I could find a way to use them, to see if I did like them. Most of the products I did not love, so hopefully this was helpful and you enjoyed watching, and I will just catch you on the next one. Bye guys!